Hey everybody, to all my club members, I miss you guys and I look forward to when we can get back together again, but until then we're making do. And I have the club projects already, and I want to share them with you. And I'm also going to I'll send you a link to this video, and then I will send you a PDF with all the supplies and directions for the projects we're doing. If you want the kits, let me know. If you just prefer to have the completed projects, that's fine too. And so let's get started. I'm going to start out with my demonstrations. You know, I always do a couple of demonstrations first. So the one I'm going to show you, this is using the baby wipe technique. So here is a card that I'm going to do tonight, and this is the using the Grace's Garden, and you can see the variegation of colors that I have in there. I used Poppy Parade, Daffodil Delight, and Old Olive, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. But I do have a few other projects that I made. This is using Coastal Cabana and Highland Heather, and you can see the different colors in the flower, and I cut that, stamped everything. All my projects tonight, I stamped using the baby wipe technique. I didn't use ink pads. Well, I take that back. These leaves I did do with the stamp pad. That's one, and then here's another one. This is the Healing Hugs stamp set. And then this is another one I did with the Grace's Garden, and it's done in different colors. And then this one is the Inspiring Iris, and I thought that really turned out good. I've always read that it's best to use a full stamp, but this is actually a line stamp, and I think it turned out beautifully. I used Poppy Parade and Old Olive again. This is the Painted Harvest one, and I just think this turned out beautifully. You can't really see the Daffodil Delight. I did use Poppy Parade and Daffodil Delight, but you really can't see it. I guess I put too much Poppy Parade on, but anyway, I think this turned out. And the Painted Harvest is retiring. And then this is the Painted Poppies, and you can see I stamped the poppies in Coastal Cabana. Those are my kind of my favorites right now, Coastal Cabana and Highland Heather. So those are the samples I made besides the one that we're going to do. So to start out with, I'm going to have a piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock, and it's 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then a piece of Poppy Parade, and I cut this out with the stitched rectangles. And this is, well, I don't know, all the measurements are all in the document. And then I'm having a Whisper White. So the Whisper White is what I will be stamping on. So I'm just using Kirkland brand baby wipes. They're cheap, and I have them on hand. So what I'm going to do is fold up a baby wipe in fourths. And because I want, in this card, I know that I want the green on the bottom, so I'm going to start with the Old Olive, and I'm going to just use my ink refills, and then I'm going to put drops of it right along the bottom. And then when you do this, it's best to use your darker color first, and then the lighter, fill in with the lighter color. So I'm using Poppy Parade ink refill, and I'm just going to dot it around like that. And then I'm going to fill in with the Daffodil Delight. Every card will come out different, and that's the beauty of this. It's got a lovely watercolor look to it, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm filling all the little white spots in because I don't want any white, and I want to have as much color as possible for my ink, for my stamp. So now I'm going to take my stamp, and I have it, it's a photopolymer set, so I'm just going to ink that up, and then I'm going to stamp it on my Whisper White. So that, see, that even turned out different than the other one. I think I want just a little bit more Poppy Parade on there. So I'm going to add just a little bit more Poppy Parade for my next one. And the wonderful thing is that no two flowers are the same. So these are going to be individual. There we go. And then I'm going to ink it up again and do one more. I'm going to do this one right here. Isn't that beautiful? I just think it turned out so gorgeous. And I do need to do the little bird, because I'm going to have him sitting on top of one of the pieces. So I'm going to ink him up the same way and just put him right there. And then I'm also going to use the, here's a card, and I'm going to do the happy birthday greeting. And I'm going to ink this up too with my, there, can you see that it's variegated? Get it over here so you can see it. So that's all there is to it. Isn't that neat? I just love it. I think it's turning out so cool. And of course I get a bad one, but you know it. If you have one that doesn't work real good, just roll it a few times and that will help. And so I'm going to, helps to get it right side up. I'm going to add that to that, and then this will be put on the Daffodil Delight card base. And then I'm using my, I love to use my punches in various ways, and one of the ways I like to do is to flag the ends. So I'm just going to use my tailored tag punch and flag those ends. And then I'll add a couple of dimensionals and mount it with dimensionals. And then the last thing I'm going to add are a couple of the Noble Peacock. That right there. And then I'm going to add a couple of the Noble Peacock rhinestones. There it is. These are for my tweezers. So I'm adding those right here and right here. And there you go. That's how to do the baby wipe technique. I hope you enjoyed that one. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. So I hope you do too. So now our next project, there's a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. Her name is Kylie Bertucci. She's a wonderful sharing lady. And her husband did this card, and it was called the Scrappy Technique. You might have seen it on Pinterest. Well, it has been really, really, really popular. And so I'm going to show you some of the cards I made. This is using scraps of your designer series paper. And I just think this is the Ornate Garden Specialty Designer paper. Isn't that beautiful? This is the Noble Peacock. The Noble Peacock Designer Series paper and the Noble Peacock foil sheets. Isn't that gorgeous? Can you see the shine into that? And then here is the the Tropical Oasis paper, which of course these are all, except for the Ornate, these are all expiring, retiring at the 1st of June. And then this is Mosaic Mood. You can see these are just beautiful. And then this is the Best Dressed Designer Series paper. So this is the one I'm going to show you how to do tonight. It looks complicated, but it really is not. It's very, very simple to do. So we're going to start by using our Stampin' Trimmer. And you're going to need a piece of paper that's about 6 inches. The reason you want it bigger rather than smaller to start with this, because you're going to cut off some pieces. So I've already cut some, but I'll show you how to cut. So you're going to put your paper in the trimmer at just a little bit of an angle. As you can see, I'm going to bring it up and show you how to, I don't know how to fix my camera, so I can zoom in. So as you can see, I've got it just a little bit cockeyed, maybe you might call it. And so you're going to cut off just here. I'll cut it and show you. So I cut it so you can see it's cut on the angle, and then this next piece will be cut also on the angle the opposite way. So I've got that, and then I've got what I do is choose 4 different coordinating designer series paper, 4 different. So there's lots of choices in this paper pack, and so I'm really excited about that because they go together so well. So you need about 11 strips, 11 to 12 strips, and once you get those cut, then I'll show you how to put it all together. So I probably have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, not quite. Let's do another one of these. And maybe another green one. So then you're going to take, we don't need that anymore. So then we're going to take a piece of Blackberry Bliss that is cut 6 by 4.5, 6 inches by 4.5 inches. And with this, I'm going to put it on my silicone sheet, because as I put it, as I attach it, then it sometimes gets on the outside. So I'm going to start by leaving a little bit of an edge here. You want to, and I'm using snail. You can use any adhesive you have, which would also be like multi-purpose glue or anything you have. Multi-purpose glue is great if you like it because it gives you some wiggle room. So then the next strip, I'm going to put the opposite way, and I'm going to leave just a little bit of the Blackberry Bliss showing underneath. That really brings out the color. And so each strip will be added until we get down to the end. And there's 3. And let's see, which other one do I want? This one. Isn't that pretty the way it goes together? And you don't have to do them all in order. You can do them any way you want. I'm going to mix them up a little bit after I get this green one on. I'll put them in a little different order so they don't look too much in order. And just leaving that little spot in between. It doesn't take much. I think I'm going to need another piece of green there. And I'm also going to need another snail. That one's driving me crazy. Get that out of here. Okay, so this one goes here. And I think we'll need another green one. So let's cut another green one. This is a great way to use up your designer series paper strips, the pieces that we just can't throw away. I'm the worst when that comes. I always am left with so many pieces, and this is a great way to use them. So now we're adding here, and I'm going to be cutting this down to 5 by 3 3/3. So it's going to be, there's going to be quite a bit cut off. So I'm not too worried about how it ends up. So there we go. So you can see how that went on. Isn't that cool? Now I'm going to take my large scissors and I'm going to just cut off all of these edges. Got to get my mouth just right, you know, to cut. That's what I always say. And I'm just going to cut off the excess here. And Then once I have this cut off, then I'm going to cut it down to okay, so now we've got it ready to cut down. So now I'm going to cut it down to 5 inches. So I'll be cutting some of those off by 3 3/4. And I'm going to save this piece to use on the inside as decoration. And then I have a piece of Blackberry Bliss cut. I better leave that there. So cut at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, so that frames that just perfectly. So I'm going to put that right there. And this is going to be mounted on Purple Posy, which is a beautiful background for the Blackberry Bliss. So that's going to be mounted there. And then because I always need thank you cards, I made all of my cards in this demonstration thank yous. So that's it. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I'm going to add a sentiment. So I have the thank you from Daisy Delight stamp set, which is retiring. And I'm going to add the thank you right across here. Isn't that fantastic? I just love it. So it's fun, such a fun, and so many different beautiful papers that we can use to make these fun cards. So that's my second demonstration. It's going fast. So now for the projects. So this is going to be the project that we're going to do in class, and I will send you a kit if you want a kit, or if I don't hear from you either way, I will just send you the completed card. This is the Music from the Heart set, and I'm very, very sad that this is going away. It just came out, and it was Don Olszewski's $1 million stamp set, and I just love it, and I haven't used it nearly as much as I wanted to. So this is a fun Z-fold card, and so I'm going to show you how this goes together. It's very, very easy card. So we're going to start with a piece of cardstock that is cut 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So it's scored down the center at 4 1/4, and then it's scored at 2 1/8, and this piece is going to be folded back and burnished really well, like this. So now we have the Z-fold card. So now I'm going to add, this is the Best Dressed designer series paper that again is retiring because it was in the little mini catalog. So we're going to put that right there. This is cut 5 3/8 by 2 inches. And then I have a piece of Whisper White. Well, I did have a piece of Whisper White. Hang on. I know where it is. Always something. So we're going to put a piece of Whisper White on the inside, right here. And then it's going to be a birthday card. So I'm using the Happy Birthday from the set. It's a beautiful font. I love it. And I'm going to stamp that. Happy Birthday. And then I have some of the notes. And of course, we're singing Happy Birthday to the recipient. So now I did a little boo-boo there, so I'm going to cover that boo-boo up with my stamp. I think that's enough. Well, maybe one over here. So that's the inside, and I'll set that aside to kind of dry. And then I'm going to stamp the piano on Petal Pink. So and I want that centered perfect. So this is going to be mounted on Whisper White, and then we're going to mount that on a scallop, layering scallop square that is cut from the largest layering scallop, and that will be mounted right here. And then we're going to put that on the front, and remembering that it will cover up the happy birthday. It won't cover up the notes, but that's okay. And then just remembering to put dimensionals just on the one side. So, you know, if it can be done, I've done it, and I have done it, where I close it up and I can't get it open. So we're gonna put dimensionals here, and I'll put 6 of them just because I want it to be sure and stay. The hardest part of this card is getting the backings off of the dimensionals. So now we're going to add this right here. And then, because we can, and we have lots of them, I have lots of them, I'm going to add some, again, the Noble Peacock rhinestones. And I'll add 3 of them right there. So, how about that? Very, very quick and simple card, but I think it's beautiful. And again, I'm really sad that this stamp set is retiring because I haven't used it nearly enough, and I love it. Of course, my granddaughter, Brooklyn, has started piano lessons, and then of course they had to quit because of the coronavirus, and her teacher also was expecting. So, but I have a really cute card for her made out of this set for her birthday, which is coming up the end of this month. So I can't wait to get her reaction to that. So that is the first project that we would have done in class. And the next one is, again, another simple one, and it's actually kind of similar to this one because it's another Z-fold, but just a little different one. So I'm going to show you this one. So we have, I'm using the Pressed Petals Designer Series paper, and the Varied Vases is for the sentiment. So this is the card that I'm going to show you. Isn't that gorgeous? And then you open it up like that. And then this is where you would write your note for your card. And then I also did it in another one from that same paper pack. And this is this in the blues and the crumb cake. Isn't that beautiful? So let's get started with this one. So this one, you again, it's 8.5 by 5 1/4, and then scored at 4 1/4, and then scored at 1.5. And then this is again folded back for a Z-fold. So, and then you have 3 pieces of the Rococo Rose print, and this is cut at 5 1/4 by 2 3/4, and 5 1/4 by 2 1/8, and 5 1/4 by 1 1/8. And these measurements, you don't have to write them down because they are in the PDF. So we're going to mount this here. So this one will go on this piece, and that's the front flap. This paper is beautiful. It is a little thinner than normal, so I was a little hesitant to use it, but actually when I got it on the card, it was fine. And then this 1 1/8 piece will go, that was dumb. Okay, let's start all over again. I have more paper cut. See, it can happen. It can happen to anybody. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. So I put too much adhesive on there. So let's start again. So here we go. See, I'm just really good at making mistakes. So my first piece is going to be here, and I will just put adhesive on this piece. So I'm just going to put it here instead of the other way, and then I know it won't go over. Sorry. But you learn from my mistakes, huh? So that goes there. And then we're going to put the 1 1/8 each inch piece. It will fit right in here. And actually, it's cut from the same piece, so it looks like it's really matching. That's cool. Not my intention, but I did it. And then the next piece is going to go over here. And so we're going to put this piece right here. And then I have a piece of Very Vanilla that is cut 5 1/4 by 2 1/8, and it's going to be right 5 1/4 by 2. Is that right? 2 1/8. 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. Sorry, I don't know where I got that measurement, but it's 1 3/4. So that's going to be mounted right here, and this is again where you will write your sentiment. And I've already, and so this is the Ornate Border dies that's with the Ornate Suite. That is actually available now. If you wanted to order it now, you could actually order it. It's going to be in the new catalog. And so this is going to be mounted right here. And so I'm going to add a little bit of snail along here. And I'm going to line that up. And that's going to be right along that edge. So now we have a beautiful border. And then my sentiment says it's from Varied Vases, hoping your day blooms with happiness. And I will put that on with dimensionals. And take those off. And this will be mounted right here. Maybe I'll center it. So there we go. How quick and simple is that? But isn't that elegant looking? I just love it. I think it's just beautiful. Oh, and I did add some bling to that. Let me get those out and add a few. We've got to have bling. I got plenty of these, so I'm using them up because they are retiring too, and they are on the retiring list, and they are on sale. I think they were $6 or $7, and they're $4.40. So if you need rhinestones, those are beautiful. So that's what I have for you this month, and again, I will be sending out to my Portland people. I'll be sending out the projects and your new catalogs, which we can't order from until June 3rd. So for this month, it will be we will have to order from both old catalogs, the 2019-2020 and the mini catalog, the January to June mini. And then for June, we will be into the new catalog. And I will send you the projects or the kits, whichever you desire, and the club will be on Saturday the 23rd. And for our Prineville and Central Oregon people, the club meeting is going to be I think it's the 28th. Yes, the 28th, Thursday the 28th. And our hostesses are Kathy O'Neill and Tanya Ridenauer. So if you have any questions, give me a call, and we will hopefully see you in June, crossing our fingers. I don't know yet because we have to wait to see if we can do it, but I'll let you know. Okay, good night. Thank you.